Okay, welcome back. So today we're going to continue with our stuff about circles. Today we're going to be learning about something called arc length. Now, whereas the circumference is the distance around an entire circle, the arc length is the distance around a circle between 2 points. So instead of a straight line distance between them, it's the distance between the 2 points on a circle using the circle itself. So let's take a look at what that looks like here with an actual circle. So let's say I have this circle has a center. I'm going to call this A. And then we've got 2 points. I'm going to call this, I don't know, D. We'll call this one F. And we want to know the distance from D to F while following the circle instead of using a straight line. So how we can do that, let's kind of break it down into a step-by-step situation. Oh, and you also need to know what the radius is. So let's draw this in. So I'm going to say in this case that AF is 2 meters. So we've got a distance for the radius. And I know that the measure of angle, let's call this DAF, is 70 degrees. So that means I'm going to have to draw on the other part of the angle as well. And cool. We're going to use this to find out what the actual arc length is between these 2 points. Now, step number 1 for doing this, and I'm going to try to break this into steps just so I can make it as easy as I possibly can for you guys. So step number 1 would be to find the circumference. So that's kind of why we went over it ahead of time, because if I had to reintroduce the circumference formula, I know it would be a little bit rough for a few people, but most of you would probably get it. Anyway, so the circumference in this case, if the radius is 2, then that means the diameter is 4. So the circumference is equal to 4 pi. Or if you multiply it through, that would be 12.57. I'm fine with you doing either way. All right, so now after you find the circumference, step 2 then is going to be to set up a proportion. And this proportion is going to compare like thing to like thing. So let's go over how you can set it up. In general, the formula that you're going to use is the arc length, which I'm going to abbreviate as AL, over the circumference is going to be equal to the angle measure. I'm just going to actually spell that out as angle over however many degrees are in the actual circle. So a circle has a total of 360 degrees inside of it. So now I just have to substitute stuff in to find out what the arc length would be. So I don't know the arc length, so I'm going to leave that as AL. I do know the circumference, and I'm going to use the decimal value this time. That's 12.57. I know what the angle is. It's 70 degrees. And I know what 360 is. It's 360. Now from here, I'm going to cross multiply. So AL times 36 on one side, or not 36, 360 on one side. And on the other side, I'm going to do 70 times 12.57. So AL times 360 is 360 times AL. And you can use just X or Y or whatever variable you want to use. And on the other side, 12.57 times 70 is 870. Oh, wow. Just when I thought I was getting better at this. 879.9. From here, divide both sides by 360 to solve for the arc length. And the arc length in this case is equal to 2.44. So there we go. That's the main thing. I guess I should add a step 3 here after set up the proportion. Step 3. Solve the proportion. I'm going to put that right here. Cool. All right, so let's take a look at how this is going to show up in your assignment. Okay, so just like last week, this is separated into 2 parts. The first part of the assignment is taking the notes and then doing 5 of these problems. I'm actually probably going to break that down to maybe even 2 or 3 as soon as I'm done with this video. And then the assignment for Wednesday, the 8th of April, is an assignment that uses this and some review. All right. so first, here we go. In circle G, with the measure of FGH being 50 degrees, and FG, which is the radius, being 8 units, we want to find the arc length of FH and round to the nearest hundredth. So I'm going to get my calculator out. All right, so starting here, I'm going to grab this. I'm going to set up my proportion. So I've got, you don't have to do this every time. I just like to do this. Arc length over circumference is going to be equal to the angle over 360. And then I need to find the circumference here. So the circumference in this case, the diameter is going to be 16. So the circumference is 16 times pi. And what does that turn into? So that's 50.27. Okay, now I'm going to replace that with the circumference, and I'm going to replace the angle with 50. So my arc length, AL, is going to be over 50.27, and that's going to be equal to the angle, 50 degrees, over 360. Now from here, if I cross multiply, so I'm going to do then first I'll do 50.27 times 50. So 50.27 times 50 is 2,513.5. And then that's going to be equal to 360 times the arc length. And then if I divide both sides by 360, I get, let me make sure I did that right. Yep. So that means the arc length is equal to 6.98 and whatever the units are. But in this case, you don't have to answer with the unit. So 6.98 rounded to the nearest hundredth. So make sure I'm teaching you guys right. And there we go. Cool. If you're struggling with this, please let me know. Like I said, today is the notes, and then I'm actually going to change this right now while I'm thinking of it before I forget. We'll do 3 of these. Today's going to be the notes and 3 of those, and then tomorrow you have a longer assignment that has some review in it. If you need help, let me know. I'm around, and yeah, have a great day.